passionate debates about things like, what's more important, free speech? Like, should we be able to play Frank Zappa's Wet T-shirt contest on the radio versus, many people on the radio? That went on, I think, for like an hour and a half. This like passionate people, like Frank Zappa, it's free speech versus it's a little offensive to a lot of women. And I just love that we've had this space to have these great arguments. And I'm not really sure who won, but I think I did hear Frank Zappa that T-shirt contest on the radio at least once after that. Mark, I remember you being introduced yourself. Stella, you want to say hi?
My name is Mark Drexler. I was food co from 84 to 98. And I remember the chaos at the sandwich line in the lunchtime area. I used to go to the register because I could bring people out really fast. And that was a lot of fun. I could be bringing like 3 people out at once. I knew be collecting money from one person. I tell the next person what their total was.
Math major.
Math grad. Actually, I came as a math grad student.
Right.
And that was a lot of fun, just bringing people out. And people have come up to me like 5 or 6 times in New York City. People would come up to me on the street and say, I remember you from the food co-op.
I was an activist in high school, and then I went to Frostburg, and it was hell for a year. And I met Lori. My name is Spice Deborah Kleinman, and Lori said, you need to go to the University of Maryland and go to the co-op and don't pass go and you will find your people. And I was like, okay, and I did. And, I had found beautiful lesbian women and I decided to become one. And actually, we were bisexual because we didn't care about what was between people's legs, it was between people's ears. And we talked about that a lot. And at that time, the lesbians were very staunch, and they couldn't handle bisexuality. And that was at that time it was very radically intense. But the evolution of our culture is evident in the co-op. Like the punk rockers, we were hippies and we played Joni Mitchell and, Sweet Honey in the Rock. And then things evolved just like the culture evolved. And, I'm just really proud of what we've done and what we're still doing. And if there were more people like us, maybe
Bernie would get elected.
Bernie would get elected. So, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about people and boundaries and working with people with different. All right, the boundaries thing I'm so
Hi, my name is PJ. I worked with the co-op from 80 to 83, and then I came back in 84 to 85, I think. But in any case, despite when I worked there, the co-op has always been a home for me. When I arrived at the co-op, there was a guy named Henry Abraham.
All right.
He is deceased now. A lovely man, but he was there from the very beginning. And one of the first things he said to me, or one of the first things I heard from him was when he came, he was crazy. So he said, the special today is placenta on toast. And he was like, what saying that? I'm like, and he was lovely. And he gave me a foot massage one day and sucked my toes for the first time. Okay, so anyway, but that was one person of the co-op. Let me say that every person in the co-op really, really made I loved working there. And I loved the discourse, I loved the conversations, I loved everything about it. We had such an amazing place where you came and you just felt you could be yourself. It didn't matter what you thought. And you could voice your opinion. People would disagree. Some did agree. But you never felt like you didn't matter. Everybody mattered in this house. And that's amazing. We all matter. And everything, and no matter where you, whatever position you had, we listened. And we took account.
We are the ones who can make it.
And we are a family. This co-op, from the beginning to now, we are a family. All of us are a family. And I love all of you. And from the people who are here, I mean, there are people like Ken Burnett and Jared Brunner and other people who aren't here. And I love them. And they started the co-op. And they are part of my family. So, embrace it, love it, be it.
My name is Ted Porter, and I'm her partner of 18 years. And one of the first dates I ever had was coming to Wendy's reunion. And I met all these people, and she's right, you guys are her family. You visited our home, we visited your home, sometimes across the country. And you guys are an amazing part of her life and mine. So keep being our family.
Hi, my name is Perry Myers. I'm a current worker at the MD Food Coop. Being here today, all I can really say is wow, and like just realizing like the sheer impact this has had on so many people. It's really truly inspiring, and I don't think honestly I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, and it's really fucking cool. Everyone here is like really cool. I've talked to a few of you, and it's like so many stories and so many like shared experiences, and like it's just like really something. It's like something to take in, and it's just really humbling, honestly. So I'm just starting, and I'm gonna really enjoy it.
Hello, my name is Johnson Cadet. I've been working on the co-op since 2010. I'm still here. Favorite memories, like, I know it's pretty much, I remember like, I discovered the co-op through a friend of mine, like, he's just like, yeah, I want to show you somewhere like you can find food for free. And then when I come here and then I started working on a Friday, like people work here, like you working on a Friday, you're doing Friday cleaning and stuff, like you're like, damn, this place is crazy. I remember Nikki be like, he was like, oh, today you come back later again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just Friday. We do a lot of cleaning. It's not that crazy, But since then I've been there. But I always tell people that I work with, like, the co-op is way powerful than you actually think. Like, the co-op is not the current workers that are actually working there. And I always tell people, like, oh, you better watch your step, because local workers can come after you to, like, straighten you up, I always tell them that. But from hearing your story, it's so amazing. So nothing has changed. Crazy people still there. The sandwich man is still chaotic. even the cockroaches, sometimes they still show up, you know what I'm saying? That's what I want to say, but one of the things I would like to say is just like, sometimes like, you know, like, people can share, it's so humbling, like I can talk to a group of people that can share the same experience. Like sometimes you remember, like sometimes like there's a lot of turnovers that you've been in, and you've been in for so long, and everybody's new, and then you tell them something and they don't quite get it yet. But the reason I'm saying that, I would like you guys, like, sometimes we need some counsel, and I would like to know, like, if you guys sometimes, like, during the Monday night meeting, just pop up. I was telling the parents, like, you guys, like, how you show up, like, make your presence known, like, give us some counseling and stuff. Like, me personally, sometimes, like Jimmy couldn't even show up now and then, I'd be like, oh yeah, I want to learn something from him. And it's always great to see him and I hear some story from you guys. And then I would like that from you guys, like every Monday night meetings.
Tell them Monday night meeting and the time.
At 6:30, but as usual, you know, we always late starting the meetings.
And where do you meet?
Huh? Say that?
Where do you meet?
At the food co-op in the basement. At the food co-op. So show up and then give us like some advice and stuff. No, we gotta keep your children in check, you know?
So my name is Jane Winter. I can tell you, I want to tag on to what Mark Elrich said. So when I was about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, my sister was one of the people that started the Bethesda Co-op. Woohoo! Yeah, and she convinced me to, the way, well, the space was raw, there was nothing there, and she got her, I'm the 10th of 11, so she got all of her she's 10 years older than all her younger siblings to help her scrub the floors of the Bethesda Co-op before it went in. And the reward was a hot fudge ice cream cake from Hot Shops at the end of this labor. That was the reward. So in my mind, co-ops were just something that existed and were always around, except that I watched it grow. And I would just hang around at those meetings. So by the happenstance, I was at the meeting where the Bethesda Co-op, so I'm like 11, 12, the Bethesda Co-op people were debating how much to loan the Tacoma Parks Silver Spring and so I just hung out. So when I got to Maryland in '79, I lucked out because I was really glad to hear the whole history today, because right when I walked onto the campus in '79, I met people. I was in the dorm for one semester and I moved into the Red Front. And I feel like I moved in with the elder statesmen, like Frank Tooten was one of my mentors. So the not just working at the co-op or being at the co-op or volunteering at the co-op, the mentality and in the Reagan years, my first election was the Reagan-Carter election. There was this place at Maryland which was a huge university, which the tide was turning to more conservatism. The co-op, the outreach and the mentality was there. And then over the years, I lived in different houses that, there was the bulk buying club, like if you lived and cooked together, you come on once a month and get your bulk food. So the co-op was always a part of my life. And when I moved out of the Red Front, I ended up commuting for a while, and the co-op was, all you had to say is meet me at the co-op. Okay, I'll see you at the co-op. And when Debbie and Spice Kleiman walked onto the campus, I had visited her at Frostburg, and she walked onto the campus, and I'm like, you've already connected to the co-op, right? She's like, yeah. And she was out there doing the apartheid protest, where they were living in the shanty town. Yeah. So the co-op was just always there. And then
Audre Lorde came out, and she's like, keep doing what you're doing. And we were like, woo, Audre Lorde!
I think without the co-op, Maryland would have been a more austere, I mean, what you knew about was the frat, and I just avoided that. But it was here, it was always part of my life. And then in the late 90s, come along, and our friend Tutu, who's next to me, she came and worked at the co-op. So the continuation and the extension, and I met Stuart and so many people, so I'm just so glad to be here and see this full circle.
Yeah.
My name is Juju. I was tossed into co-op without knowing any English. I didn't speak any English, probably hello, that's one word that I was speaking. And I was tossed into there with all the lesbians. Long hair like these. Men wears a skirt. So I was coming up from the countryside of China, riding water buffalo to go up and been tossed into the co-op environment. it was totally strange for me. But I see those young kids, I was a little bit older than them, and I see those young kids that making some crazy food after they got stoned.
Welcome.
After they volunteer, they hire me. And then when the debating that if they want to hire me or not, I remember they say they don't. Some of them are totally against it. Say she does not speak any English. How could you hire her? But anyway, some of them it's strongly want to hire me, so I got hired. 1995.
She's an expert food preparer, cook, chef, everything.
So anyway, Co-op was everything to me, and then brought me whatever I am today, and open up my whole world for me from the beginning of it. Thank you.
So I did speak once, but I gotta feel like I have to speak again. My name's Matthew Arnsberger, and yes, I did create the Yogi Mix, and I want to tell you a little bit about Yogi Mix because it's not there. Okay, why is there no Yogi Mix at the food co-op? All right, the concept of Yogi Mix is very simple. You mix nuts and seeds for a complementary protein. It's a super rich, enjoyable, nutritious food. We used sweetened carrot chips, peanuts, and roasted sunflower seeds, and I think raisins as well.
Raisins.
We would make at least 250 pounds of this stuff a week. We were putting them in quarter pound bags and selling them
65 cents.
selling them for 45 cents a bag. All right? When I went down there yesterday, Friday, I looked around. Where's the Yogi Mix? Where's the dried nut? Where's the nuts and seeds? Where's your little quarter pound bags? When I was a student there, we maxed out at about 1,300 sandwiches a day. Right now, the food co-op is competing with all these trash food services upstairs. And when I came in here on Friday, that place upstairs was jamming with people. All right? Downstairs at the co-op, I walked in, there were 3 customers there, and about 10 or 12 co-op workers who were working really hard. They were enjoying themselves. The music, Nina Simone was on the stereo. It was a nice space. And then you had this big lounge that was sitting there, which seems like kind of opulent and a waste of space. All right, the other things I can tell you. There's a lot of floor space in there that's underused. I saw a lot of counters or refrigerating units that weren't full of food. The mission of the food co-op is to feed the masses, okay? You gotta get in there, you gotta crank out volumes of food for people who need it because they're hungry. All right, carrots is nice, even brown rice is nice, but people are on this campus for 10 or 14 hours a day. They need at least 3 lunches a day, okay? So you gotta make lots of sandwiches, you gotta put lots of little bags of nuts and seeds and yogurt and all these things that are gonna nourish these people because that's how you build your revolution.
And we need bumper stickers!
Yeah, hi, I'm Paul DeBose. I was in food co-op from 82 to 84, and I was ushered in a new generation of music, less hippies, less 70s, what became known as New Wave, Talking Heads, a different mode of, and it was the evolution of the people in food co-op. The most important part was it was so inclusive and accepted everybody who you were, and it was the only place on campus. It was the only place on campus that accepted everyone. It was and that's why the meetings were long, because sometimes there were people that needed attention, and that's where they got their attention. It's a wonderful place, best place I've ever worked.
Hi, my name is Jared, and I'm 13 years old. hopefully everyone's voice will be heard. Just to interject real quick, for the sake of the schedule, we have a band waiting and another one arriving, but we do want to hear whatever it says. So just, if we can be mindful to try to get through this portion of the audience right here until that guy in the blue hat.
Yes.
If we could do it in the next 10 minutes, that would really be valuable for the overall thing. We want you to stick around. We want you to see the music. These guys are part of the co-op right now, and so we want to recognize their patience and these girls. But anyways, thank you.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. Hi, my name's Sharon Heswick, and I was worked at the volunteer at the food co-op from 1975 to about 1980, and I saw the expansion progress and the protests, and we would create the sandwiches and people would stand in line. But I also remember the yogi mix, that was good, but I also remember that we put that on top of yogurt. We would sell that in a container. And that became, you see that in the stores today. There's like yoga, pair of chips and all. But the most important part about the co-op for me was that I think it really brought, I echo a lot of what you said, and that is that it's brought a lot of connectiveness in my life, and I see a full circle of the food and the togetherness, and I really am proud to have been a member of the food co-op for the 40th celebration. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ken Henkin. I was at the co-op mid-80s. I had other jobs on campus at times, but when I wasn't there, I worked like 2 different stints as a paid worker at the co-op, volunteered there. It was just a great place to be for years. I loved the sandwich, the huge double-line sandwich line, and just like, you got like, I don't know, 8 people behind there making sandwiches, somebody stocking. That is my great memory. You know, I'd love to do that again somehow, somewhere. In 1990, I moved to the West Coast, and I was like, oh my God, this is the West Coast. There's gonna be awesome food co-ops. Oh. No, the food co-op on the West Coast suck. Okay, Maryland Food Co-op is the best food co-op I've ever seen. One other thing I wanted to say is like one of the things, there was a lot of political activism when I was at the co-op.
Yes.
I was not doing that then. I love the co-op, it really enlightened me. When I got later in the mid-90s, I started getting into activism, doing animal issues, lots of things. And then, all kinds of burnout things, whatever. And then, then we had some really big protests in the late 90s, and it's like consensus process, and it's like, yes, I know this stuff. And it was just great, and I just want to say, you know, for me, I wasn't active here, but I saw it, and I got into it later, and Seattle has sucky food co-ops, but we did throw one really good party that I was very active in late '99. So, thanks everybody, and I'm having a blast today.
Hi, my name is John St. Ange. Hello. For the record, there are 2 outstanding Pete Myerses in the room. One's over there. Pete and I were below, and there's no, so that's awesome. Okay, for the record, I grew up in a sheltered suburb of Washington, D.C. I'm from a large living family.
We have 2 minutes left.
Is my sister Suzanne still here?
Yeah, where's Suzanne?
Suzanne, my older sister, introduced me to people at places like Roseanne East and the food co-op when I was still in high school, and I had no idea that there were people like that. And so it was a real great chance for me to open up my eyes and no longer be this kind of sheltered suburban kid and learn about things like democracy and political activism and all these things that I'm still, you know, fascinated by the process. And I learned many important life lessons at the food co-op. I also broadened my musical horizons and made a bunch of great friends. And I don't regret a single minute at the food co-op.
So, of course, I'll keep it quick. Denise Jacobsberg, that's my name. I just want to say, this is so overwhelming because of the amount of people who have come through the co-op and the different types of people. and the acceptance that people, the toleration that people had, and we didn't always tolerate each other. There was a lot of fighting, and it felt so at home. I mean, that was like coming from dysfunctional families that I think most of us have, and it was like home, but people were real about it, and it was fantastic. I mean, in a lousy way when it happened, but then we got over it, and it was just like this, we're real, this is real, and we're all coming back to it, and like, oh, here we are again, hey, I love you, even though I didn't like you the other day, you know, but it's just, it was so beautiful, and it's amazing to me. It's amazing that everybody's still here. I want to hear, I missed the folks who first spoke about, the first people who came up with the co-op. I missed that. We got here late. So I'm wondering, oh good, okay, so I want to know when it comes out. That's what I think is important to me. So anyway, you guys are fantastic. Everybody's fantastic. They came out here, and it opens my heart. It opens my heart.
Hi, I'm Kelly Shane, and I was at the co-op from 82 to about 85, and I was a paid worker, and as Kim reminded me last night, I deemed myself the payroll bitch. Yeah. I used to have to just go around and get everybody to get their time and deal with books. So the hardest part about the co-op was actually doing my schoolwork. That became a challenge for me, but I loved it, and it taught me a lot of life lessons.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Laurie Horty. I was a paid worker from 79 to 81, and then briefly again in 84 to rescue the co-op from financial disaster. Someone was also embezzling at that time. And my fondest memory of the co-op is riding to work at the co-op with Joe Uhas in his Volkswagen with his cup of coffee that he had to have, and then going in the morning when no one was there, just a few workers, making trays and tables of sandwiches and listening to really great music, and that was the best part. Yeah. And forget about working on the sandwich line, that was for the volunteers. We didn't mess with that.
I love the sandwich line.
I love the co-op, it's a great place, and I'm glad it's still here, and I will be trying to come and help out if I can.
Thank you, Laurie.
Hi, I'm Jane Taylor. I worked at the co-op in the 90s. I was there in the 90s and have a lot of fond memories of assembly lining 100 burritos and smoking weed in the walk-in. We used to partake before meetings.
It was legal back then.
Yeah, it was legal. Y'all know that's why the meetings lasted so long. And I had no idea how to cook, and people expected me to. And I can remember making egg salad and just going to the spice bin and picking random spices to throw in, like, just based on color and texture. And then one of the funniest things that ever happened was during lunch rush one day. The store was packed. We had a full sandwich line, and somehow the clock got knocked off the wall, and there was like hundreds of cockroaches working like behind it, and they started scattering. we had this volunteer. I don't remember his name. He was from another country. And he took his hat off and started hitting and the customers were just like,
they were running out of the store.
Definitely, hands down, the best job I ever had. Very
On the best job. I think half of us would say, still to this day, it was the best job you ever had, at least. I was there from 93 to 97 or 8, I don't know, ran the costume. And I remember we were dealing with a lot of gender and queer issues, but by the time that I got there, like all the Vietnam stuff had died. I arrived and it was kind of a really vanilla place, like most of the campus sucked. And the co-op was a saving grace for me. I remember at my orientation, just walking around this campus and being like, I can't go here, this is ridiculous. And then finding the co-op and be like, okay, All right, it'll be all right. But I remember one meeting, we were like a lot of the men just didn't understand the issue of, women not speaking and not. So we were trying to explain. I'm not going to explain it now. My brain is mush. I have 2 kids, but we were trying to explain, that there was a default where the dominant culture was that men would speak more than women, and we timed in the meeting. Do you remember that? We timed the amount of time each person spoke to like scientifically prove actually, even now, men speak way more than women. And at some point we made the men stop talking so that only women would talk. Do you remember this? Because women were like the dominant culture. And that was, I think in our time, that was really what we're dealing with, was the rights of queer people and just women's voices, and really making that an issue. And I just want to acknowledge Choo Choo, because when I was there, very few of us knew how to cook. And Choo Choo had her own cafe in China. And so even though she couldn't speak English, she taught us all how to cook. And to this day, I'm a really good cook because of Choo Choo. Yeah. So, thank you, Choo Choo.
I have to thank the co-op for rendering me unable to work under a boss. And I'd like to have a toast to the next 40 years of the co-op.
Laurel, will you tell them about the Will you put Mark on
I'm going to tell you guys one quick story of my own, which is, what?
Yeah, go for it.
Which is that I love washing dishes because I worked at the Maryland Food Co-op, and washing dishes was the only thing I could do where I could get something done whilst watching what everybody else was doing and making sure they were doing it right, because I'm such a big, bossy person. Thank you.
I think we have like 2 people left, myself and Matt. In case there's someone we missed, they should come over here and flag us down real fast because the band's starting after that. But Keith didn't speak.
Keith.
Okay.
Come on, Keith. 5 t-shirts.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna put Keats in that rotation too. There's something called the Keats Clause that's a major policy decision. I want to say real quick, we have t-shirts for sale. You can see one draped here. It says 40 years of no bosses. We revisited the original Sandwich Through the Fist designer who worked here and still runs an independent t-shirt company in Western Maryland. We had a redesign from a guy named Joshi who was here. It's been around for the past 10 or 15 years. And these t-shirts are awesome. They're $20 and they benefit the co-op right now.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is, I'll just keep it brief because, I tend to be passionate but verbose. And to build off of what Randy said, one thing I learned at the co-op that I still work on is trying to be mindful of the space I take up as a man. Also, I came into the food co-op as a aggressive 18-year-old vegan straight edge punk rock warrior. And all these old hippies who were playing Fela Kuti and Bob Marley looked at me like, what the fuck? This guy's gonna tell us not to smoke in the walk-in. And a brief shout out to the people that span from me to that guy with the beard right there, Sharon, Vakil, Dana, Matt. All these people were here when I worked here. We voted to fire each other. We voted to hire, maybe ban each other, but we participated. And at the end of the day, we understood the main mission here was the Maryland Food Co-op, as I was once told, the Earth Mother Goddess of the Universe. I don't know if you know that term. I'm proud that I have skills. I work at a vegan catering company today, and I still do the same kind of work. And I'm thankful that the Maryland Food Co-op was there to help cultivate me and cultivate all these wonderful people I wish I could give shout outs to. So I'll pass the back.
So, there's so much. I didn't want to say anything at first because there's so much to say. I started working here in 1999, and I worked with Kim right when I first started. Yeah, and it was like this transitionary period, and I worked there for 8 years, and I couldn't imagine not spending every day of my life at the co-op, thinking about the co-op. It dominated my existence to the point where...
Did you see Kel?
and to the point where well, yeah, I did. I had to seek help. You know, I had to extricate myself from this place. But because it's so incredible, because of all of these things, and there will never be a better job than anyone will ever have. But what I want, and so like, the people are innumerable and profound who I'm thinking of, who aren't here, who I know want to be here, and the people who don't want to be here, and all the people who like voted to fire me, you know, and taught me all these lessons about everything. And so this is profound and overwhelming. But what I wanted to echo is what Johnson was saying, and I was lucky enough in some of my time coming back to train Johnson, and like seeing Johnson today and having him tell me about how I showed him how to wrap sandwiches the right way was just like, you know, it's going to be with me for the rest of my life. My point is that the co-op looks different, right, from when I was here. But part of me separating myself from this place was coming to terms with the idea that this is a living thing, right? That I am part of the co-op. The co-op is this living thing. And as much as I hated making Yogi Mix and setting up volunteers, like, I had to accept when I left that they stopped bagging 4-ounce snacks, you know? And maybe they should, and I agree that they should, you know what I mean? But Johnson is right that you have to be here, and you have to come to these meetings, and you have to volunteer, and you have to say, we need more refrigerated cases, and you have to be here and give your life to this place if you want to make that change. So I am thankful that it continues, and it is so, like, it's bigger than any of this could ever be. But and thank you, Jimmy Cooney, for this.
Okay, so we got a couple bands left. We really hope you stick around.